Hello, Heather Stock here. It's getting late. I really should be going to bed, but I want to tell you a story. Story starts last school year. This would have been the 2011-2012 school year. It was the third year I was teaching high school mathematics. I love math. That's what I was teaching. But being a teacher, having to put up with all that teachers put up with, and I'm not just talking about the kids, I hated it. I hated it. Mind you, this was the third year. Each year, it's got progressively worse. I didn't feel any better about it. I hated the amount of time I had to spend away from my family. I hated the amount of time that I had to spend on work. Even when I was home with my family, say on spring break, I didn't enjoy it. I was too busy worried about getting caught up on grading, getting some more lesson plans done. No. So, by this past summer, I was done. I was done. I was not going back if I had any say in the matter. I really felt like I had no say. I felt trapped. My husband loved him, but he didn't want me to leave that job. I mean, what better job for a mom to have than be a teacher and have the same hours, or at least the same breaks, for the most part, as your children do, and work at the same school? What better job for a mom? If you're not a teacher, you have no idea what teachers have to go through. No idea. I mean, some teachers love it. That's great. That's great. Yeah. Then you were born to be a teacher. Me, on the other hand, apparently not. I was not happy. Not happy. Now, I pretty much texted my husband a few times saying, I would really like to just drive my car into the ditch. Then go back. That's how much I just, ugh. Again, I was never one that really wanted to work for somebody else. I mean, don't get me wrong, that was part of the issue. It's not that I don't want to work. I'd rather work for myself, not for somebody else. And teachers, believe me, they don't get paid enough. They don't get paid enough. I wasn't even in the public school. I was in a charter school. They don't get paid enough. Not for all they have to put up with, no. I literally told them several times, I seriously would like to drive the car in the ditch. And maybe you feel that way. Maybe you feel trapped. Maybe you've contemplated several times on your drive to and from work, maybe it'd be just better if I just drove off in the ditch and not have to worry about this anymore. That's the way you feel? Oh my goodness. Get out. Find something else to do. Join me. Anyhow, I'm off on a tangent. So, I'd pretty much come to that decision. I was not going back the 2012-2013 school year. And you know what? I didn't. Now, a lot of things came into play in order for that to happen. I don't even remember. I came across this book called, it's by Lydia Clarr. It's a world-renowned psychic. She was the one who actually found John Edwards, who used to be popular in television. Had several of his own books out. Anyways, it was her book called darkness out of light, or light out of, the darkness out of light, or something like that. You can Google her. It'll come out. Light Out of Darkness, I think it was. And I read that book. And out of reading that book, and this has been something I've always kind of wanted to do. I always kind of wanted to call a psychic and, get a reading. But, I didn't want to call one of those 1-900 numbers or whatever, I wanted to talk to someone that, at least in my opinion, was legit. Not someone who, And so after reading her book, I was like, wow. If I'm ever going to get a psychic reading done, wouldn't it be great to have her do it? Wouldn't it be great? Now, her information was not in the book. No, I Googled her. Yeah, you can learn a lot from Google. I'm sure you already knew that. Well, I Googled her and her contact information came up. So I wrote it down. She didn't have an email address. That meant I was going to have to pick up the phone and actually call her. Now, if you know me very well, I'm not much for talking on the phone. I don't know. Never really have been. So I wrote her information down. I probably had it a week or more. Before I got up enough nerve. Got up enough nerve to call her. So I call her. And I'm just, I'm excited. I'm nervous. So I call her. Of course, she asked me how'd you hear about me? How'd you get my contact information? I told her, read your book. Found your contact information online. And I was wondering, if I could do a phone, reading, if you do a phone reading for me. And she was like, sure. She told me what her price was, which was very reasonable compared to, others I've looked into, like Sylvia Brown. Vastly reasonable price for an hour. Asked me what day I wanted to do it on. I already had a day in mind. I did. I already had a day in mind. I was like, somewhere around, I think I gave her like a week. A week's like between these, these several days. And she picked out the day and the time that I'd already kind of hoped we would do it on. Because I had already written down, before I ever called her, when I would really kind of like to have the reading done. Which was June 28th, 1 p.m. So when we set the day and time, and she told me what it was going to be, that's exactly what she told me. June 28th, 1 p.m. Now, when June 28th, 1 p.m. rolled around, again, I'm nervous. I gotta call her. And not really so nervous about calling her, maybe a little bit, but more nervous, never had a phone reading done, never, how's this gonna go, what all is she gonna tell me, I called her. I'm not gonna go into everything that she said, but one of the key things that she said was that she saw me moving back to Texas. At the time, we lived in Arkansas. We got lots of family in Arkansas. We moved to Arkansas when I was 15. We'd moved back to Arkansas. My family, my parents, from Arkansas. Anyway, so she saw me moving back to Texas. Now, at the time that she told me this, I was kind of thinking that maybe we might move, or at least I was thinking maybe I might move, something, but there was nothing set in stone. I mean, it was just kind of one of those, in the back of my mind, kind of, it's not in the forefront. And Texas, hell no, that wasn't in the forefront. Texas, I lived in Texas when I was little, and I didn't intend to go back. But then when she said that, I got to thinking. And got to looking. And it just fit. I don't know how to explain it. I really don't know how to explain it. I don't know what you believe about psychics. I don't even know what I believe about psychics to a degree. I don't think she told me anything I didn't already know. I mean, maybe it wasn't anything that was in the forefront. Maybe it was in my subconscious. Whatever the case may be, she hit on something that I believe was already there. I mean, I already knew to a degree. But the amazing thing is, that call happened June 28th. That got the ball rolling. Of course, it got the ball rolling way before that, when I decided that I wasn't going back, and that I was going to go ahead and actually reach out and call her. Now, after that call, I start looking. I'm online looking. Houston, oh my goodness, all the jobs in Houston, because of course at this time I'm looking for a job. All the jobs in Houston's bustling here as far as the economy goes. Lots of jobs. But I knew I did not want to live in Houston. Oh my goodness, crime and all that, no. Big city, no. Now, I remember when I was growing up, I lived in a small town called Liberty, Texas. This is before we moved to Arkansas. I guess this was junior high. All the other kids were, I'm going to move out of Liberty. I'm not going to stay in this small town. Nothing much is happening here. So I was thinking, well, if I ever moved out of Liberty, Texas, where would I move to? And so way back then, I probably wasn't 13 or 14. I had heard of this place called the Woodlands, Texas, and had started to fall in love with it back then. So when I'm looking all these years later, thinking, okay, if I move back to Texas, and if maybe I get a job in Houston, but I don't want to live in Houston, where could I possibly live that's still close by? So what do I remember? The Woodlands, Texas. Guess where I live now? The Woodlands, Texas. Isn't that awesome? Now, get this, again, the call, June 28th. Do you know when we moved in? We moved into our apartment on August the 7th. Keep in mind, June 28th, ball's rolling. We're going to move to Texas. Does my husband know anything? Oh, yeah, no. He doesn't know a thing. Not a thing about it. However, he even moved down here before that. And it's amazing. It's completely, if you knew my husband, oh my goodness, yeah, your head would be spinning right now. He's not one to jump at a whim. He's one that has his mind set on things, and that is the way they are, and there's no change in his mind. So, from June 28th to have him already moved up here before August the 7th was a feat unto itself. It's a miracle. Absolute miracle. And part of the reason why he actually did go along with everything was because of some other things that have been happening that I did not know about. And that once it came to light, there was no objection. But anyways, that's besides the point. Again, that's still kind of miracle stuff right there as well, for all that to have been going on, so that everything could work out the way it did. Now, yeah, and soon as I had him on board, he had already went ahead and tried to get a transfer for his job, got it immediately. Within like the week, he had the transfer. And so he was down here, or maybe it was a couple weeks. He was down here in July. July was when he was down here. He had to live in a hotel for a while until we could get the place. Yeah, June 28th, I was, even though I didn't want to go back, had no intention of teaching another school year. I had already signed the contract. I didn't have anything else lined up at the time. Saw no other way. Reached out to her. And a lot of what she said to me, I think it was more helping me to believe in myself. Helping me to believe in myself. Again, maybe that's what you need too. Believe in yourself. You can accomplish anything you want to accomplish. Don't settle for anything less. Don't settle for anything less. Your life can change like that. June 28th, and then by August the 8th, whole family moved in. Wow. From Arkansas to Texas. And that's the blink of an eye. That's amazing. Your life can change just as fast as well. Now, I guess my story for how I got into Empower Network will be for another time. However, if you're feeling trapped, if your job is not fulfilling, if you hate the amount of time you have to spend away from your family, and if you feel like all the time you are with your family, you're not focused on them, you're still worried about work, still worried about the next meeting, worried about the next report you have to turn in, or whatever the case may be, then I ask you to consider something else. Consider something else that other people who are in your same shoes, some that, broke, were on drugs. Some are blind. We have blind people in our company that are making this work. We have someone with a debilitating spinal disease who has to lay on her back, and yet she can still make this work. Even though she cannot be up, moving around for any great length of time, she can still make this work. She has made this work. They have made it work. Do a little research. Ask me, hey, send me an email. Find me on Twitter. I'm on Twitter at hstock28. Or if you want to send me an email, you can send me an email at info at creatingmoneymagnets.com. Again, that's info at creating, creating, money, moneymagnets.com. creatingmoneymagnets.com. If you want to get some audio to people, real people, who are telling their stories of how Empower Network has changed their lives. Amazing. stories of how they have gone from just utter hardship and how now they're making their dreams a reality. They're not having to go to that job. They're working for themselves and for their family. Yeah, give me an email. I'll be happy to share a link with you so that you can listen to that audio. If you want to learn more about me and what I do and the company I'm working with Empower Network, check out the links below this video. I'd be happy to hear from you. Bye.